Now, this past week, Ford Motor Company dropped a bombshell on Grand Prix racing when they announced they will cease their Formula One efforts at year-end and sell the Jaguar Racing team. It began life as Stewart Grand Prix in 1966, founded by three-time world champ Sir Jackie Stewart and his son Paul. Ford will also sell off its Cosworth racing engine division, a company with even deeper roots in the sport and supplier of engines to the Jordan and Minardi teams. Peter Windsor has more.
Sad days for Jaguar F1 as the boys go through the motions of the last three races, not only of 2004, but in the life of the team. I spoke to Sir Jackie Stewart to get his input on Ford's withdrawal from Formula One.
Well, I think it is sad. It's somewhat depressing. For me, I think the saddest thing is the team of people that had been collected there, because many of them were Stewart Grand Prix people and Stewart Ford people. And that's always disappointing when a team as good as they have been suddenly find themselves in a position of considerable uncertainty. You know, I don't know whether there's going to be a buyer in time for this to come right or not, but it's very sad. For Ford Motor Company, in a way, I even think it's sadder, because the creation of the Ford Motor Company occurred through Henry Ford, the original Henry Ford, winning a motor race in Grosse Pointe, Michigan. Now, that heritage shouldn't be let go. Now, of course, they're still going to be in racing and NASCAR and maybe other formulas, but Formula One's the sharp end, and they've been in it continuously since '67, and they've won more Grand Prix than any other engine maker, and yet it's a well-kept secret. They haven't used it correctly, and now for a short-term problem, because I can only assume, and I haven't been briefed on why we're coming out, I assume that it's a short-term financial problem.
There's a lot of talk about bidders for the team. The question I ask is, there's room to start a new team on the grid now. You don't have to buy an existing team. We don't have the full complement of 12 teams. You do get your 48 million back if you post it as a bond over 3 years. So if you've actually got the money to run a team, say for a minimum of 3 years, why would you buy Jaguar instead of starting your own team?
The difficulty of starting your own team, Peter, is more complex than most people who might watch this programme realised. I mean, I started a team from scratch with a greenfield site, if you like, but if I were looking at it today, I think I would prefer to buy a Jaguar as a purchase, with facilities, with machine tools, with all the composite shops and everything that's required. It just takes a lot of time to put all of that together.
Forgive me for being a little bit personal, but I suspect you're worth a little bit more than you were when you retired in 1973, so perhaps you should step in as a buyer.
Oh, we looked at it, but the economics of it didn't work out as to what was required to make it go. I mean, I wasn't at the meeting, but it was...
When you say we, you mean you and Paul?
It was looked at, put it that way.